The story of Sodom and Gomorrah is one of the most haunting lessons in history. It's a tale of destruction, of judgment, and of consequences. But beneath the fiery end lies a profound truth about the cost of staying in places that no longer serve you. Sodom and Gomorrah, they were cities filled with promise and prosperity. They were the kind of places that lured people in with this opulence, this illusion of opportunity and comfort. They were bustling, thriving hubs of activity that seemed to offer everything that one could want: security, abundance, a sense of belonging. But as we all know, appearances can be deceiving, and what seems like a safe haven can often become a prison. Now, Lot, he chose to live in Sodom because it appeared to be advantageous. The land was fertile, the opportunities were plentiful, and the city seemed like a perfect place to thrive. But even as Lot settled in, the cracks in Sodom's foundation began to show. The city's moral decay and corruption were evident to anyone who was willing to look beyond the surface. And still, Lot stayed. He stayed despite the warnings, despite the signs, and despite the growing unease that must have gnawed at him. Why did he do that? Well, because leaving a place that you're invested in, a place that you've built your life around, is not ever easy. There is a comfort in familiarity. Even when that familiarity is toxic, I think we can all relate to this. It's human nature to rationalize and to convince ourselves that things aren't as bad as they seem, We can endure just a little bit longer. Change is too risky. But there is always a hidden cost of staying where you do not belong anymore. And in Sodom, that cost was everything. And this story forces us to confront a harsh reality. Sometimes the places that we cling to, the environments that we convince ourselves to endure, are the very things that are holding us back. And we stay because we fear the unknown, because leaving means that we would have to start over, and because the pain of staying feels more tolerable than the fear of walking away. But what we fail to see is that staying in a place that no longer serves us erodes us from the inside out. It chips away at our spirit, our values, our sense of self, and our identity. Lot's hesitation to leave Sodom was not just about physical comforts of the city. It was about attachments that he had formed, the roots that he had planted, and the fear of stepping into the unknown. And even when the angels came to him to warn him, even when there was destruction that was imminent, Lot lingered. Imagine that. You know the end is near, knowing that the place you're in is about to be obliterated, and still hesitating to leave. Now, that's the power of attachment, y'all. The way that it binds us and blinds us to reality. It chains us to situations that are no longer good for us. And here's the thing. The longer that you stay in a place that's toxic, the more it begins to consume you. Sodom wasn't just a corrupt city. It was a symbol of everything that happens when you ignore the signs, when you choose comfort over courage, and when you allow fear to dictate your decisions. And the people of Sodom, they were lost long before the fire fell. They had abandoned morality, they rejected accountability, and they embraced a way of life that was unsustainable. And Lot, though he was not like them, was complicit in his own way, because by staying and by tolerating and by convincing himself that he could live among the brokenness without being broken himself, he endangered not only his own soul, but that of his families as well. And the turning point comes when the angels literally dragged Lot and his family out of the city. Now think about that. It took divine intervention to pull him away from the destruction. He could not do it on his own. How many of us have been in situations where we know we should leave, but we feel paralyzed? How many of us need a push or a shove or even a divine hand to pull us out of toxic environments that we have convinced ourselves to tolerate? But even then, when the angels drag him out, the story doesn't end with Lot's escape. The most tragic moment comes when his wife, unable to let go, looks back. One act of looking back, that one moment of hesitation, ended up costing her everything. She was turned into a pillar of salt. And that wasn't just a punishment, it was a metaphor for what happens when we cannot release the past, when we cling to what's familiar, even as it destroys us. Lot's wife could not imagine a life beyond Sodom. And in that moment, she was frozen in time, a literal symbol of what happens when we let fear and attachment dictate our actions. How many of us can relate to Lot's wife, unable to move forward because we're too busy looking back? How many of us lose the future because we can't let go of the past? Sodom and Gomorrah teaches us that staying where you don't belong comes with a cost. Sometimes that cost is subtle, like the slow erosion of your values or the gradual loss of your peace. Other times it's catastrophic. like the total destruction that befell those cities. But the cost is there, and it lurks beneath the surface, waiting to claim its due. The people of Sodom did not see it coming because they had convinced themselves that they were untouchable. They had normalized their corruption. They had rationalized their behavior, and they silenced any voices that tried to warn them. Ultimately, they had built their lives on a foundation of sand, and when that fire came, there was nothing left to save. For Lot, the cost of staying was nearly his life, his family's unity, and his peace. Even after he left, the scars of Sodom was still remaining in Lot. His daughters, shaped by the environment they grew up in, made choices that reflected the moral decay of the city that they had fled. The influence of Sodom did not end when Lot left. It actually followed him. That's the other cost of staying too long in a toxic place. Because even when you leave, the effects can follow you. It takes time to heal, to rebuild, to undo the damage that's been done. So the lesson of Sodom and Gomorrah is not just about judgment or destruction. It's to provoke a thought about the choices that we make and the places that we allow ourselves to stay. It's about recognizing when a situation does not serve us and having the courage to walk away, even if it's hard to do. It's about trusting that there's something better on the other side, even if we may not be able to see it yet. It's about understanding that looking back and holding on or hesitating can cost us everything. That fire that consumed Sodom and Gomorrah, it wasn't just a punishment. It was a wake-up call. It was a reminder that we can't ignore the signs. We cannot stay where we don't belong. We cannot allow fear to hold us captive. Sometimes walking away is the bravest thing that we can do. Sometimes letting go is the only way to survive. And sometimes the cost of staying is greater than the fear of leaving. And the story of Sodom and Gomorrah is not just ancient history. It is a mirror that reflects the choices that we can go through every single day. Where are we staying too long? Where are we holding on to things that are holding us back? And what will it take for us to finally move forward? Something to think about. If you like this video, make sure you smash that like button, leave a comment in the comment section, get a conversation started, and I will see you guys on the next one where we will talk about another topic similar to this. And we're going to go through the Living Bible because it is a living scripture. Okay? Everybody have a blessed day. I'll see you next time. God bless.